So I wouldn't actually describe the collapse of Hollywood as good news, right? Because I have, in previous eras of my life, enjoyed movies. They used to be good. Harry, you'll remember this. Back in the 80s and 90s when movies weren't anti-Western propaganda and were fun to watch, they were good, weren't they?
Yeah, I love the movies. I loved Hollywood. My favorite film is Zulu, which is probably the most politically incorrect choice possible, because I'm a simple chap, and it was dead easy to work out the goodies from the baddies. The goodies were wearing white pith helmets, and the baddies were chucking spears. And I just absolutely love that film.
As you may know, YouTube arbitrarily demonetized our channel, so I'd like to thank Lotus.com's first sponsor, Atlas VPN, for supporting us and providing a service that is actually useful as we move into our new cyberpunk dystopia. Atlas VPN Premium is just $1.83 per month, with 3 months extra and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you aren't happy with the service. Follow the link in the description to sign up. You'll be liberated from region locks, so you can watch streaming content from anywhere in the world, but I think more importantly is that it masks your IP. Firstly, this prevents us from being spied upon by the various state dragnets. We find it important that it keeps your Google searches private, which prevents them from tailoring the results based on your past searches, which prevents them from hiding information because they've built up a profile against us. It also protects you from being the target of malicious ads, trackers, and malware, and informs you when someone is trying to steal your data. There has been a spate of people getting their accounts hacked recently, and Atlas VPN helps protect against that. Atlas VPN is also easy to install. Even I could do it without assistance. What you're seeing now is the footage I recorded of myself installing the thing. Once you're logged in, you can see that you just need to click on the location that you want to tell the internet where you want to be from, and you're all set. To repeat then, Atlas VPN Premium is just $1.83 per month with a 3-month extra and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you aren't happy with the service. Follow the link in the video description to sign up, and remember, supporting them is supporting us, so please do check them out.
To be honest,
sorry.
I kind of like Zulu for the opposite reason almost. Maybe this is you're going to whine about young people a minute after I say this.
I am, yeah.
All right, so you know the bit just before the battle, and then they fight, and then afterwards they like sing to each other. Menapaluk and the Zulus are chatting, whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of really like that it shows that both sides at least have honor as warriors.
Oh, I agree. And this is not a commentary, of course, as to whether our British forces should have been there in the first place. I'm just saying, as a film, it's fantastic because we have a clear demarcation between the goodies and the baddies, as far as I'm concerned. An interesting fact about that film, Zulu, you know, the great sound that the Zulu nation make before they go to war, the stamping and all that sort of stuff. Russell Crowe is a massive fan of that movie. And at the start of Gladiator, when that scene where they're going unleash hell, I think they're out in the woods of Bavaria or somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah.
They used the soundtrack from Zulu.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on that film. Yeah, absolutely, as a homage to it.
Okay, well, this has taken a bit of a detour, but
yeah, sorry,
but no. But this actually does set the scene relatively well, because as you can tell, we're not people who despise the movies. The movie industry, the movies they produce. We like these things.
Is there an anti-movie club?
There is now, and I'm the chair of it.
Well, it's called Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the anti-movie club.
It absolutely is. And that's actually what's happening. So you may be aware that, of course, there is a writer's strike in Hollywood, which has been nothing but an unvarnished good for the whole time. And I think they're called the Screen Actors Guild, but because I watched Team America, I want to call them the Film Actors Guild. They're on strike, and they're on strike being led by Adam Conover, otherwise known as Adam Ruins Everything. I really don't like Adam. Let's watch him.
The number one question I get is, how do I support writers and actors on strike? Do I cancel my streaming subscription? What do I do? Here's the answer. Neither the Writers Guild nor SAG-AFTRA is calling for a consumer boycott right now. Instead, we're asking people to do 3 things. 1, post on social media, boost our message, say you stand with us. Number 2, follow our strike rules. Do not do the work. of a striking writer or actor, that's called scabbing. We have facts on our websites that explain exactly what we're asking of non-members and what work we're asking them to refrain from. And finally, and most importantly, donate to the Entertainment Community Fund. This is an incredible nonprofit that supports writers, actors, and any crew member who needs help paying their rent or their medical bills. Every dollar you donate there will go to a writer, actor, or other entertainment worker in need. That helps us stay on this picket line longer, and that helps us win. We are so grateful to all of you for your support. Thank you so much. And remember, until the strike is settled, there will be no acting and no writing.
How are we going to cope?
Good. Yeah. I hate everything you write, and I hate every single person involved in this. You're insufferable leftists, and I hope you go out of a job, frankly.
So I'm always sympathetic to striking people, but
not these striking people.
You've got to have something to withhold from the industry to actually go on strike. If you don't have any talent,
What I'm saying is that if you read through the replies, everyone is just like, screw yourself.
Yeah, you've not been anything good for a while.
No, and it's because you've been horrible to so many people that they're so angry at you, actually, Adam. And I just love the, would you like to donate to a starving actor today?
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of those about, aren't they?
Yeah.
The poor, starving actor is terrible.
No. But what about the writer, say, of She-Hulk? Do you remember twerking She-Hulk? Don't you want to help that person keep their job? No. I don't. I really don't. Okay.
Of course, we're just waiting on Gary Lineker to come out, aren't we now, and refuse to do match of the day until the striking writers are. Yeah,
it's like brilliant.
I'll give them what they're worth.
You say that, but that might actually happen.
Yeah,
knowing him.
Yeah, actually might. But the people at Universal Studios are like, oh, you're picketing outside of our studio under the shade of the trees in the California sun. Not on our watch. So they trimmed all the trees. I shouldn't laugh because that's actually mean, but that just amused me.
Hollywood's a terrible, terrible place.
It's a horrific place where people like Harvey Weinstein prosper, and lots of people who accuse them of being child traffickers get silenced. But anyway, this is a stuntman setting himself on fire to protest how he's been burned by studios and producers. Yes. I'm sure you all have a long list of complaints. So why are they on strike? Well, the LA Times has got some thoughts. Because we've come to a point with the business of movie making where it appears that it's about to change. It's on an inflection point because, of course, technology has continued to roll forward, and being an actor hasn't changed since the 1920s. They point out that this is obviously over money, but the entire industry isn't exactly very healthy at the moment. As we will go through in a minute. And they've been complaining, the chief executives of Netflix and Disney and Universal Studios, they still get paid millions and millions of dollars. Ergo, those people should be impoverished and the actors should have all the money. And it's like, well, that is an argument. But as they end this by saying, the boom times are over. Executives know it, Wall Street knows it, and the story that we are in a revolutionary moment of technological transformation will run out of gas soon. So the bosses are using that moment to do what Silicon Valley wound up doing when the other big swings didn't pan out. They squeeze labor. It's like they do because things are sinking. That's the problem. This is, as Quentin Tarantino put, I'll get to that in a second, actually. So this is, just one of those sort of news sites for movies. And they think that behind the scenes, Hollywood is looking at a rocky road in 2023. With fear of economic recession looming, the writers' strike, and viewership declining in streaming and traditional cinema industry, executives and analysts are expressing apprehension about the new year, according to Financial Times. The outlook of one chief executive of the media group is, quote, 2023 will be bad. Some companies are going to have a really, really hard time. Why exactly is viewership declining?
Because the product's not good?
Yes. The product's not just not good.
No, it's the audience who are wrong, actually.
Exactly. The product is not just not good. The product has been attacking the audience for being morally defective in some way and not delivering what they want.
I agree entirely. I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually watched a proper Hollywood movie because they're all absolutely pants.
Joker in 2019. That's
The Joker was the Joker was very, very good. I agree. I think that's probably the last one that I saw as well.
Exactly.
But these days, I tend to, unless it's got subtitles, I don't trust it these days.
But that was 4 years ago. Like 4 years ago, Hollywood produced a noteworthy film.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. There's nothing. I subscribe to Sky Movies for my sin. I can't remember the last time I watched anything. Actually, I can. Yeah. I watched The Pope's Exorcist, starring Russell Crowe at the weekend, and that is an hour and 40 minutes of absolute drivel. It's possibly the worst conceived movie of all time.
Well, this is the thing. I've got Netflix because you need something to keep on for the kids, right? And my wife and I, we're like, okay, we'll sit down in the evening. Okay, should we watch something? Just flick through it. There is nothing good here. And it's like, oh, this is a new thing. Okay, but it looks trash. The new thing, no, it looks rubbish. It's rubbish. It's all rubbish. Nothing looks good. That's the thing. It's all just really low quality.
But I don't think it is. I think if you go to particularly the Scandi stuff, or the foreign stuff, there's some really great.
I can't really great films on
there.
Subtitles.
You can't, but you are missing out. I know you can read. I know you can read, so you can do subtitles.
But I read all day, every day, and when I sit down to watch a movie, I want to be able to actually turn my brain off and just enjoy the movie, right?
No, you're missing out on a world out there. You really
all I'm saying is if they dubbed it, I'd be fine.
Fauda. Honestly, start with Fauda. It's about the Israeli Special Forces. It is the most kick-ass, non-politically correct series you will ever see.
It's the Israelis, of course.
There is blood and guts everywhere. Honestly, watch it. There's not that much talking. It's mainly killing people. So I recommend you ease yourself in to the glorious world of subtitles with Fauda.
But this speaks to a problem that Quentin Tarantino. I mean, don't take my word for it, right? I mean, if Quentin Tarantino is like this, the worst era of Hollywood ever. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Okay, I've got no authority on this, but I think actually he does. He's right. I feel that 80s cinema, along with 50s, was the worst era in Hollywood history, matched only by now the worst era. It's like, okay, fair enough. So we can all see this. I mean, one example of this was the Indiana Jones film. Did anyone?
I didn't even know there was one.
Exactly. Why would you want to watch an 80-year-old Harrison Ford running around pretending to be an Indiana Jones still in the same outfit?
I mean, he was bad even in the Star Wars movie. I don't know if you watched the scene where he's trying to run away.
Yes.
And it's...
Well, he's 80.
Yeah. And it's so obvious. And it's just like, okay, well, it's like a Steven Seagal movie.
Yes.
Where he's just really fat and still pretending to be a special ops forcer.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay.
You don't want that. I mean, my wife's a big fan of Harrison Ford, but I'm not a huge fan anymore.
Sure.
So I'm not going to go see it.
Fan of Harrison Ford in the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah. When he was a sex god who went around hunting, purloining stolen treasures, etc., across the globe, and
exactly.
And killing Nazis. That was great.
When he was an action hero, that's fine, right? Because he was not geriatric.
But that's the thing. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say this is probably hired way too many people to make too much stuff, none of it good. I mean, why is this movie made? Of course, it's not just Harrison.
No.
Like, all the other people involved making it are just wasting their time.
Well, it's not just wasting their time. What it shows is that they've got no ideas, right? And they've got no, like, can you name a movie star who's under, say, 35?
No.
Right?
No.
There are loads of actors under 35.
Margot Robbie? Is she under 35?
I don't think
Well, it's the same with rock stars.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the last rock star was Liam Gallagher.
Quite possibly.
In all honesty, I can't think of... I mean, come on.
Noel Gallagher, but yeah, you are...
Well, Noel Gallagher was, he's a master. He's a master, but he's not a rock star.
Yeah.
Liam is the rock star. He's the angry, spitty, rude guy that's going to wreck everything and throw the TV out the window and shag his way around, several continents.
But this is the point, isn't it? Like, there are no, like, Titanic personalities anymore. The era of that is gone. And all they're doing now... sorry, frog in my throat. All they're doing now is recycling the movie stars from previous eras. This is why Tom Cruise has done another Mission Impossible. This is why Harrison Ford is doing Indiana Jones now. It's just we have nothing that didn't come out of the 90s and early 2000s. Right? That's the last of it.
Maverick was the most successful film of last year, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Because it was old school. It was like Top Gun reboot. Well, it was Top Gun.
It was,
rebooted. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but that shows. I mean, why don't they have young guys doing films like that now? Why does it have to be 60-year-old Tom Cruise? Right? They're done. Right? And so this Indiana Jones film is just remarkable to me that this even exists. And who thought this was a good idea, right? It cost $295 million to make the Indiana 5 film, right? And it has taken $140 million, and they think it would need to take $800 million to break even. And by comparison, the first film in 1981 had a budget of $20 million, probably not adjusted for inflation, but even then, it's not going to be like 15 times what it was. And that made $400 million. So it's like you can see the dynamic of these things has just shifted. We've got this giant institution that sucked up all these resources that no one's actually interested in watching. This is not a profitable industry.
I could be wrong, Carl, but I'm getting the feeling right now that you're not going to be in the line to see Barbie.
I actually am going to have to see it because my wife wants to see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the great double act, the Barbieheimer? Go see them both in one sitting?
No, I'm not really interested in it.
You got a half suit.
You're not going to go Barbieheimer? You should.
No, I don't really care about the Oppenheimer film.
But isn't it weird though? Like the Oppenheimer Barbie movies are the only ones anyone's talking about.
Well, that's the thing. These yeah,
and it's really just because of the meme aspect, if nothing else.
Well, I mean, there are lots of millennial women who played with the Barbies when they were kids, right? And so that's who Barbie appears to be pitched at. But it's not pitched at young girls now. And the Oppenheimer movie just looks really dull. I don't really care about Christopher Nolan at all. Like, he seems like the midwits director.
Exactly.
To me,
but the whole thing is just a pure meme.
Yeah.
Like the Barbie stuff, I think, has one more going on the side there.
But at least for normal people, I could see like a normie who doesn't think about this at all, being like, oh, Oppenheimer, that sounds in China. Who that is? He made the bomb. And Barbie, my wife likes Barbie. I'm going to have to go see that. Okay, I can see why they exist. Like the latest Jurassic Park film was absolute junk. It was just so bad. But when I took my kid to see it, the cinema was just filled with dads with their kids, right? And so there's at least a normie friendly sort of, there's a reason that normies would go and watch these things. But most films, why would any normie want to watch aging or nearly dead Harrison Ford like creak his way around the set? Like, there's no reason for it, right?
I gotta wonder, when your son grows up after watching that, is he ever gonna rewatch that particular Jurassic Park?
No, he won't. It was really boring.
But isn't that a big difference? Like, we still go and watch films on, we stream them now, but you used to have DVDs.
Yeah, it's still worth watching the original Jurassic Park. It's still actually entertaining. It's still good to actually watch. Like, my kids will actually want to put it on. They're not like, Dad, can we watch Jurassic World Dominion where the locusts are taking over the Earth? No, who cares? Anyway, obviously. So anyway, and we can see this just because ticket sales are massively down. Now, there are a bunch of reasons for this. Of course, COVID didn't help. The state's saying, right, everything needs to be shut down. But ticket sales are just down a fifth from 4 years ago. Just only 4 years ago. So that's, an entire industry losing a fifth of its sales is pretty bad. And they release fewer films as well. In 2019, there were 57 films released. In 2023, so in the same period so far, only 45 films have been released.
And it's not going to get any better, is it? Because now, in order to win a gong for Best Picture, your movie's got to be filled with people with certain protected characteristics. It's got to have a black or Asian or trans lead. It's got to address some terrible woke injustice.
Yep.
And people don't want to see that kind of nonsense, do they?
No.
And most of us go to the movies to eat popcorn or wine gums, in my case, and have a great old time. Look at the hot toddy on the screen, see a little bit of crash bang wallop, and let's hope that the good guys win. If you get a good bit of good Tarantino-esque dialogue in there as it goes on, all the better. But we don't want to go there for yet another lecture, do we?
No, we go to watch heroes defeat villains.
Yeah,
it's that simple, actually. But anyway, so in the UK, for example, ticket sales are collapsing. 2 cinema chains have gone into administration because the infrastructure that supports people actually going to watch a movie doesn't end up existing if people don't actually want to watch the bloody movies.
Yeah, well, there's 2 things, isn't there? There's the quality of the products. Nobody wants to watch the movies. And then there's what we've learnt to do during enforced lockdown, which is just to buy everything online.
Yeah,
so there's entire industries which we used to have pre-COVID, which are now gone because people have relearnt habits and they've done them for long enough. You're stuck in a COVID world for a couple of years. Those habits that you have learned stick. And when they open everything back up again, nobody goes.
So it looks like Swindon in particular just won't have any cinemas at some point because Empire are closing.
What about Cineworld?
and Cineworld.
No! We used to have a guy in the office, and when we were all joking about investing in stocks, like we did some stuff, and then he just put everything in Cineworld.
That's
And then every single day, we would run into him and be like, "How your stock doing, mate?" And he's like, "No, well, talk to me about it."
Why would you put all of your money in the hands of Hollywood and expect them to? But anyway,
It wasn't that. He just really liked Cineworld customer service. He was like, just put it all in.
Well, but that's the thing, isn't it? Because these cinemas, like I've used these plenty of times, they're all really good.
Yep.
You know, the high quality. You enjoy your time there. It's just there's no reason to go there because the films are rubbish. Like they say here, Cineworld filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the US last year after being weighed down by mammoth debts and weaker than hoped for audience numbers. Because people are just not going because the films are rubbish.
Yeah. Sort out your product. Sort out your product. That's it. And let's swear we will never do any form of lockdown ever again.
Yeah. And so let's go over to the Striking Film Actors Guild. Bryan Cranston is going to tell us how he's not going to be replaced. Let's watch.
And I find it very, very ironic that we are all gathered here today in unity in front of an entity that is run by Disney. And now we've got a message for Mr. Iger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us. And beyond that, to listen to us when we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. And lastly, and most importantly, we will not allow you to take away our dignity.
Does a man not have a right to star in a Hollywood film?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's standing, isn't he, for office in New Mexico? Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
He is. No, he is. Yeah, he's standing for office in New Mexico.
He's Breaking Bad real life.
Yeah.
Absolutely Breaking Bad real life. Yeah. Poor darlings, aren't they? These actors who aren't going to be replaced by AI, and they going to keep earning their
Literally
hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, and tens of thousands for every repeat, and all. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yep. My heart bleeds, Carl. I've got to say.
Well, that's the thing. And bad news for Bryan Cranston is that the AI is actually going to replace them, and it's already happening. Netflix is offering $900,000 a year for a single AI product manager. So it turns out that you can replace the salaries of dozens and dozens of writers for one AI manager.
This was my point.
Yeah.
I had too many people. And it's like, don't need you. You don't actually do anything good, so just going to get ChatGPT.
Actor Rob Delaney says, quote, so $900,000 a year per soldier in their godless AI army, when that amount of earnings could qualify 35 actors and their family for health insurance, is just ghoulish, says the godless, ghoulish atheists of Hollywood.
Learn to code.
Yeah. No,
I mean, seriously.
Sympathy. No sympathy. You guys are a bunch of weird child traffickers and like Harvey Weinstein enablers. Like, I'm sorry, I'm so out of sympathy. Like Ricky Gervais literally said all this to their face in the Golden Globes, and they were just like, "Yeah,
yeah, no."
Sorry, you're a disgusting industry full of disgusting people.
Well, of course, they've been sucking up, haven't they, Silicon Valley for?
Oh yeah, and
years
it's Silicon
and
Valley
years.
that's destroying them as well.
Yeah, of course,
they're well aware of this. Like the Intercept article talks about this. Well, because Silicon Valley has got quite opaque practices on purpose, and they all got into bed with Netflix. They all got into bed with the Amazon streaming and stuff like this. And all of these were just totally opaque Silicon Valley companies. And they were just like, yeah, but we don't know what we're worth because we don't know what the viewing figures are. It's like, and whose problem is that? And guess what we're doing now? You're signing this contract where we're taking your AI likeness, and now we don't have to pay you a goddamn thing. Bye.
Yeah, that is the way AI goes. That's the way
Yep.
Silicon Valley goes.
Yep.
It astonishes me that they didn't predict this. I mean, I can remember years ago when they started replacing checkout workers at Tesco's.
Yep.
Which I was like, this is
no one complained.
No, exactly. This is only going to end
Yep.
one way. Why can you not see that? Don't wait 10 years and then start moaning about it. Start moaning about it now. I mean, the reason that I go through the human checkout is because I'm technologically useless. I always end up in a complete sort of mess when I try and use the the AI ones.
I just don't want to reinforce the industrial technological system.
I wish my reasons were quite so noble, but unfortunately, it's because I'm useless.
Do fair pay.
Yeah, but it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work.
Okay.
And then you buy a bottle of whiskey, and then you've got to press a button because somebody wants to come and check that I'm 18, and and then what do you do with your bags? I mean, I bring my own bag, and it doesn't recognise my own bag. My own bag.
I'm not saying I've done this, but if you just take them, nobody knows.
you bag thief.
Well, they're sat there.
The bags at the supermarket are free.
Seriously, like you think the lady there working on minimum wage cares if you take the 5 pence back?
Do not steal from supermarkets.
I'm not saying you should. I'm saying you shouldn't, but you can.
And you know this. And you know this how you heard from a friend, right?
Steal from supermarkets is the official position of lotuscaesars.com.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So, but the thing is, it is exactly as we've been described. Right. The chief negotiator for the actors union is like, well, they propose that our background performers should be scanned and get paid for 1 day's pay, and then the company should own the scan, their image, their likeness, be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. Yep, that's what they're going to do. The Writers Guild of America are like, well, we want to make sure that ChatGPT isn't credited with writing a screenplay. And then all this to me is just like, oh no, now they've come for my job. It's like, yeah, they've come for your job because they came for everyone else's job prior and you did not care.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no sympathy with this sort of elite bunch of Hollywood actors, none whatsoever. I had some sympathies when with the miners, for instance, when entire communities were transformed by Thatcher. Even though I was the Thatcherite.
We'll get to all of this.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Because this exactly as you say, right? So they just continue complaining in this article that look, Netflix is paying $900K a year. Disney is also doing the same thing. And one researcher says, it seems clear that the entertainment industry is willing to make massive investments in generative AI. Generative AI being the AI that's going to be writing the screenplays in the future in order to save hundreds of millions of dollars, but also gain valuable access to intellectual property. So AI models can be trained to replace human creatives like actors, writers, and journalists for a tiny fraction of human wages. It's like, well, I would have more sympathy with those people if they hadn't spent the last 10 years telling me that I was a racist.
I agree, a racist and a transphobe. And they jump on every woke bandwagon going. And they make the rest of us feel as though we're somehow not worthy. We're less people. If we don't celebrate the latest piece of wokery nonsense that they put out, that we are somehow literal Nazis.
If you can't afford their vanity morality, which is what this is.
Oh, I like that. Vanity morality.
And that's exactly what it is. It's high cost, high price, virtue signaling status symbol of a morality. Then you're a bad person. It's like, no, get effed, right? I'm not having it. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take epics, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, which we did an amazing 3.5 hour long symposium on. So you should go and watch that, by the way, because this is the best analysis you'll ever see of the Epic of Gilgamesh. But what they're going to do is they're going to tell the AI script to read this, because it can. So read this ancient epic, write a script from it, which it will, suggest the best scab actors for the roles, pay them the appropriate day rate for their image, and then generate not only the script, it'll be the deep fake of the actors, their voices, and compile and render the entire film, and it will all be automated, and eventually it will come to the point where this can be done on demand. The technology will become so advanced that it will literally just create human beings who don't exist, using voices that don't exist, to fill particular niches, to tell stories that have been told for millennia. And this will be done on demand. You'll be like, computer, I just want to listen to, I want to watch a rendition of the Iliad. And then it'll, processing, done, okay. And you'll sit down for 2 hours and watch the Iliad. And the actors are gone, it's over, this entire industry is done now.
But I still don't think it will actually work, because there's something about even clever fakery which remains fake. It leaves you feeling fundamentally unsatisfied.
It leaves you feeling unsatisfied because you have a point of reference. Imagine if you have never seen an authentic movie. Imagine if you have never seen an actual actor delivering an actual line with charisma and conviction, and all you are used to is computer-generated fakery. It leaves you that way, and me as well, but in 30 years' time, 40 years' time, when all that is available is computer-generated, and you, for your entire life, have grown up watching computer generated things, you won't know that there's any difference.
But I think you will still feel the lack as a human being. I think we'll feel the lack. I think we are pre-programmed to recognize fakery, actually. And I think what might happen is it might give rise to an alternative industry, even if it's just street theatre or mummers plays. Or
I think you are right. I think there will be a small percentage of people, like a minority, who do realize that this is inauthentic and they want something that is actually genuinely made by humans. But I think the majority of people won't think that at all.
Well, again, you look at the rise of, we thought vinyl was dead, didn't we? We thought that once the CD came along and then streaming came along, we thought that vinyl was dead. But there's something about vinyl that people like. I personally don't get it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to say, hey, Siri, play so-and-so. But there's something that people recognize as being authentic about vinyl that isn't there in streaming. And I think the same thing will happen with this.
But what percentage of music is listened to on vinyl? And what percentage of music is listened to on Spotify?
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It will exist. There will be a minor industry for old style movies. What do you think?
I think you're overstating it a bit.
I
mean, maybe 30% of all future movies will be AI generated animated movies that are really cool. Probably they'll probably be plenty entertaining, but it's not going to take over the whole entertainment industry.
I think you're totally.
You're a prophet of doom.
No. I may well be, but that's only because we've seen this happen before. I'm old
this
enough.
too will pass.
But I agree. The thing about movies though and music, it's something that appeals to our deepest humanity, isn't it? That's why we go. We don't just go because we want to see cleverness, flashbang wallop, etc. It's the story that appeals to us. I think.
I think
I've got more faith in humanity than you have, Carl. That's
that's only because I'm experienced with humanity. Right? You look around, and the majority of people actually do not think about these things that deeply. Right? And so, like 70% of people will just do things for the initial surface reason. Right? So 70% of people will just watch the rubbish movie. They'll listen to the rubbish music that's made by auto-tune and has been like scientifically calculated to just trigger neurons in your brain for whatever effect, right? This will become the normal dominant paradigm, and it will be people looking for strange and unusual things in unusual places that create a kind of side industry. But I think that Hollywood, as we know it, is coming to the end of its life, and the era of the actor, I think, is coming to an end. And I'm kind of not sad about it because I kind of hate these people.
No, I'm certainly not sad about Hollywood coming to an end, but I think it will be replaced by something that remains human, recognizably human, and which is much better.
I don't think so. I do think that'll be a minority opinion. But Lauren Chen had a great take on this that I thought we'd share at the end of this. These people didn't bat an eye when the Rust Belt was hollowed out and their jobs shipped overseas. They voted to hasten their collapse and replacement. It's time for the theatre kids to learn how to code. Simply put, they didn't care until it happened to them. They didn't care that your jobs were outsourced. They didn't care that your country was changed, but now it's affecting them. Oh, they're so bothered. Oh, they're so virtuous. No, I've got no sympathy. They're
not coal miners.
This is just the march of progress.
No, absolutely. When terrible things happen to other communities,
I'd love to see some coal miners marching past, also on a picket line, and just like, what? Looking at each other.
Yeah, exactly. When terrible things happen to other communities, then what actors have tended to do is see that as a great opportunity to write a great story and act in the film about it and get paid loads of money about it. That happened. that happened with the Full Monty, with the steel industry in Sheffield. It happened with the other fantastic movie about the coal mines and the brass band, Brassed Off. Right. Brassed Off. Again, they saw the chaos that had been created by the devastation of those industries. And rather than coming out in support of them, what they did is acted in a film about them. And then they felt so much better about it. And now this is happening to them. Yeah. It's suddenly become, oh my goodness, we've got to do something. Poor us, we're not going to be able to afford to heat our swimming pools in Malibu. Yeah.
Learn to code, you evil Trump supporters. Is what they were saying.
Yeah.
And so I've got no support, no sympathy whatsoever. And I'm not sad that it's happening.
Thank you for watching that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters. If you enjoyed, why not visit our website where you can get our podcast live at 1 o'clock on weekdays in full, uncensored, and for free, as well as paying us as little as £5 a month to get access to all of our premium content. For example, mine and Harry's series Comics Corner, where in this episode, we go through the history of the superhero comics industry from the platinum, golden, and silver ages. That's the 1930s right through to the 50s. Keep an eye out for part 2. And if you'd like to see what all of the team are putting out, you can follow me on Twitter at con_Tomlinson and the rest of the team at LotusEaters_com on Twitter. Till next time, goodbye.